there. My plan for this video was originally something different. I intended to share with you about some cool things that I have experienced in September and October. However, November was a month of emotional struggle for me, and it consumed a lot of my energy and my creativity, so I decided to share that with you. In the first 10 days of November, I was feeling exhausted physically and emotionally. I was not feeling that creativity and productivity coming out so easily anymore. I was not as happy, as excited as before, and wasn't feeling like doing anything other than my responsibilities. I guess it was one of those moments of life that everything looks gray and breathless. I wasn't really in the mood to get out of bed and do stuff. And at the same time, I was feeling super anxious because I needed to get many things done. Unfortunately, my first reaction towards that wasn't the best. Instead of being comprehensive about the situation, I behaved poorly with myself. I acted with too much self-criticism and excessive self-demand. It was like a punitive behavior towards myself, like I should have been doing more, not less. It seems obvious how wrong this is now, but it was not clear to me at the time. And obviously, treating myself like that was making everything worse. Due to this struggle, I even decided to cancel a trip to Rio on the holiday of November 15th and stayed at home for 4 days totally alone in self-isolation. In times like this, my mind tends to be overly active and become anxious. So, taking this moment to myself was really needed. It was finally a moment to slow everything down and breathe, to direct the focus to me only. After days of reflections and questionings, my mind was able to get calmer again, and I could think clearly once more. Instead of uncontrolled and accelerated thoughts, unperceived and undealt emotions, and directless and thoughtless actions as before, my mind, heart, and decisions were getting more conscious. And, week after week, the weight of the emotional struggle was becoming lighter and easier to carry. Mainly because I could work on the stuff of therapy and understand all of it better. Slowly, I felt my old, bright, happy, productive, and creative self coming back to me again. But all of this made me think about how I treat myself wrong and how I still don't get my needs so well sometimes. Now that the vulnerable moment has passed, I can think about it more rationally. The physical and emotional exhaustion means that my mind and body need attention because something isn't right. And now I see what I actually need in those moments. And it is to stop and give myself all the focus that I can. Is to hear my thoughts, to give support to whatever emotions I might be feeling, to become a safe place for my vulnerable self. Being overcritical and demanding was only making me feel worse instead of helping. So, definitely was not the right reaction, and that was not the right time to push myself. It was the time to redirect all my energy and trying to understand what was going on, to validate my feelings, and to come up with a solution to whatever was the issue. It is curious because I am sure that if a friend of mine hurt her knee at the gym, for example, and told me about it, I would be empathetic and suggest her to take care of it and make sure it was okay before going back to doing exercises. But with myself, I was not that kind and empathetic, even more so that it was an emotional kind of bruise. They seemed to be neglected more easily. Anyway, I guess the circumstance of my life made me realize how unfairly I was treating myself, and hope I can do better for me in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you have a wonderful Christmas and a beautiful and hopeful beginning of 2023. I see you on my next video. Bye bye.